have friends or clients that their parents were separated when they were babies, and even though they don't remember their parents together, like they're still affected by that, especially if they don't have a good relationship.
Absolutely.
And I think, yeah, like going back to your point, I'll tell you a very irrational thought that I have, but it's very, for someone like me who has friends with kids and their, you know, partner or what should be their co-parent is not a co-parent. Like, I always joke around, like, if I was to get pregnant, like, I have no kids. I don't look like that's somewhat important, but like if I was to have kids and the kid male that I had kids with, like, fell short, like, I feel like I'd go to jail for murder. And, like, that's funny, but it's also, like, real shit. Because, like, are you joking? Because, like, as much as you can preach to me, like, or preach to whoever you're with, like, oh, I'm here for you, I'm here for the baby. It's, like, because I don't think co-parenting to me is not, like, a foreign name. It should, like, if your relationship with that person, whether you created a human being, is not working out, like, that's great that you've acknowledged that, and then let's figure out how then we're still going to raise this kid.
Wow.
Co-parenting can be it honestly, when it works, it's, like, not more beautiful than it's, like, what's more beautiful about parents being together and raising a kid than parents not raising the kid if that kid still has the same emotional support? Because, like, that's where it meets in the middle. Like, why does it matter? But society, and that goes into, like, your opinions on relationships and family, but it's like families are not, meet your significant other, get married, buy a house, get married, have the kids. Like, that is not life. We're all having kids out of wedlock, got fucking forever.
Right.
Like, that's the normal. It's then just like, but what doesn't change is how those kids are raised.
Right.
And I think regardless if you're educating men, but it all leads back to the kid. And how then they get a chance to then function in society as an emotionally somewhat stable person outside of what their parents can control.
Right. No, I agree because I guess I forgot to mention this too because my mission is not only to bring awareness to fatherhood, but awareness to to what it can do in a child and like trauma. But also too, when I say fathers, I'm advocating for fathers because it's a higher number. But also too, there's mothers that come to me with the same situation, but the opposite way.
Yep.
And it's usually like the person that knows the judge or has more money that is gonna have their type of way and doing whatever spitefulness that they're doing. And it's crazy because it's like it happens to the good. Like you're trying to do good. And, like, you're getting backlash. Like,
right?
I feel like I've been getting backlash my whole time. Like, and I'm just like, to be honest, I'm sorry. I don't care about you right now. Like, I'm trying to raise this kid. Like, my focus is this kid. You keep trying to take money out of my pocket for child support. I'm still going to be paying for the kid, doing whatever I have to do to supply for the kid. That's just me throwing away paper. Yeah. And it's just paper.
Because the child support doesn't do anything emotionally for the fucking kid. I see, that's where my dad thought child support was like, oh, I'm doing so much. And I was like, wow.
Right. You see what I'm saying? Because then that messes up the child too. Yeah. Because child's going to be, okay, you didn't pay mom the child support, da-da-da.
But people also don't understand child support. Like, my mom, we were 3 kids. You probably thought my mom was making bank. That's not how it works. Like, when I realized that when I was older, because I thought, like, oh, okay, like, because my mom became a single woman raising 3 teenagers in one of the most expensive towns to live in. And we lived there until I graduated high school.
Wow.
And I have no clue to this day how my mother did it without selling her soul to somebody. Because she still has her beautiful soul. So, like, God bless her. But, like,
Amen.
I can't even, like, imagine my house became like the hangout house. One, because we just needed to get out of the streets so my dad didn't traumatize us or terrorize us. Right. And, like, my mom felt secure with us there. Because as much as, like I said, she encouraged us to see him, she also knew better than anybody, especially us, what he was capable of. Because she met him at a young age and they got married and had kids really young and, knew him better than almost anybody and knew what he was capable of when he was drunk.
Right.
So, but just like, I think circling back to my point, like, is much like at one point we were my siblings and I were in court altercation that had happened to happened at our house, resulted in the cops coming and a restraining order, so like similar. And then that result, when police are called to a house with kids, DC, like they're mandated reporters. And there was like a physical altercation between like my mom and my dad. So like the DCF was called, a DCF worker came to our house or whatever. I think it was DSS back in the day, but like came to our house. We had to like go to like my dad of course, during their like divorce hearings was like, oh, she's keeping them from us. So at one point, like when DCF got involved, like they made us go to court and like talk about how we like our relationship with our dad. My dad ironically did not show up because he was hungover or drunk at the time, but like the judge, like I literally looked at that judge and I was like, I do not want to see him. Like he is petrifying to me. He is and the judge just was like, I remember I went on this, my attitude has not changed all that much in the context of how I express myself, but like I literally just was like, do you like I just kind of was like, would you want to see him do, like she heard about the story like or all the other stories, and I just was like, would you want to be around that man if that was your dad? Like would you want to fear for your physical safety around your parent? Like no. So I'm like, I remember I literally was like, can you make him sign the freaking divorce papers? Because I was like, how the fuck do you think my mom is affording life? And she was like, okay. And I just was like, I'll forge I think I honestly said I'll forge my dad's signature. Like, I just was like, this is ridiculous. But it was like, they took really that for them to be like, all right, sir, like, you're like, you stop saying that. Because like, your kids have now like, we've heard out of your kid's mouth, you didn't show up, that right. They don't want to see you because you can't stop drinking. And as much as they were like, go to anger management, do like, please.
Don't you think that's crazy? Because now, how do you think the kids that can't even talk yet feel? Well, what they got to say, like, oh, I want to see my dad, or
or like, where is he?
Where is he? Because then that conversation starts coming about, right? Yeah. Or why is he not here a lot of time? What happened? Yeah. And all these questions.
Yep. Or like, like what, like, why are things always so? Why do you always go to these things that involve dad, but then dad never shows up? Right. Because kids don't understand, like, at the end of the day, once that money hits whoever's getting the child support's account, they don't, that never directly affects the kid in the context of whether they're spending money on diapers or they're spending money on sneakers. Right. The kid doesn't, and I think it circles back into this, like, kind of about what you want to do. Like, anyone can get put on child support and not also be advocating to see their kid. Right. So that's my question. So it really is irrelevant in the context of like being a father, and paying child support has no relation. Honestly, that's just the government making their money. Because someone is getting taxed. Yeah. And for the people who, like you said earlier, that are like not trying, like those women or even men, if it's, roles are reversed, do deserve that financial help, because a kid Absolutely. Is freaking expensive. Absolutely. So, that's, in that context, great that the government has that set up, but then it's like, ish.
Do you know what's crazy though? I feel like, especially with a lot of conversations I had, a lot of single mothers that had the deadbeat dads, they never went after child support. No. My only reason my mom did it is because, like, they were going through a divorce, and then, like, that, like, it was, like, the divorce court that's, like, kind of, and, right. Of course, like, I think my mom genuinely needed that help. Yeah, that's different.
And, like, she knew that he would never set up an outside of the court way to then trust that he would provide any financial support. Absolutely. Because that's the thing, though. Like, It's like, it's so kind of sad to think about a child being transactional, but it kind of is. Right. Like, whether you live together, both of your salaries are paying for these child's needs. So, you know what I mean? Like, it takes money to do anything in this world. Mm-hmm. So it has to be a factor. Like, you can't exclude that factor. Right. It just sucks when, like, all these agencies have to get involved, because right. They just doesn't.
And they start getting in your business.
Yeah. And then, and then it really, because then it's like what they don't care about is like, they don't really take into, or they don't take into consideration of the, like, oh, is this mom being bitter and she's putting him through the ringer? Is he a deadbeat? Or it's really just like, what they really see is he's being, or whoever's being the deadbeat, so you just have to pay X, Y, and Z.
Right.
And it's like, that's the thing. It makes it so easy on that person because it gets freaking taken out of your paycheck. Like, they have to do less now.
Right.
They don't have to do anything. Not a damn thing.
They can literally just sit down.
Yeah. And then if they're unemployed, you don't get shit.
Right.
I know multiple fathers that stay unemployed and just so they don't provide child support for their kid because they think, oh, it's just, I don't want to give it to that lady. And I don't know how many people know what comes with not paying your child support.
Then you
Screwed.
Then you get the jail time. Then you get your license taken away and everything like that. And that's also a factor on the other side. It's just like, why did it have to be brought there anyway? Mm-hmm. Because now it just messes up. Okay, now you don't have your license. Now you can't pick up your kid. Now you can't go do things with your kid. Now you're in jail. Now you can be your kid's life. Like, it's just like a whole cycle of
now you have
disaster.
a record.
Now you have a record. And
we all know the world doesn't like that.
Right.
And then add being a black man onto that. They don't care what your record's from.
What it is.